Hi, I'm Kelly Hogan, and the video that you're about to see was never intended for YouTube. I recorded it while I was wearing my pajama pants. I had this huge scratch under my nose, and I didn't even bother with makeup, except that I had glue on lashes that were basically falling off. I recorded it just for my coaching group members, and they get a much more relaxed version of me. But I decided to share this video with you today because I don't think any of you give two cares what I look like either. And I thought it might be useful for some of you who do know that you feel better when you avoid sugars, processed foods, grains, and sweeteners, but also know that holidays can be really hard. So if you are naturally just a moderator of sugars and carbs, and you don't have to worry about those foods, then my gosh, you and I are really different. But if you feel your best when you abstain from those foods completely, then this message may be helpful. As always, it is not about just following a rule book or being dogmatic for the sake of being dogmatic. I am very careful about what I eat because my life and health literally depend on it. I do not ever want to deal with chronic acne, IBS, obesity, sugar addiction, inflammation. I had costochondritis, which was intense chest pain and infertility. So yes, I am a total carnivore, and I probably will be forever. But please do what works best for you and for your body. And I appreciate you watching. If you're willing to hit subscribe, thank you. And now on to the video. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Hi, everyone. All right. I want to share with you some thoughts about social situations. So this is whether you're cooking for your family this holiday season, or you're going to someone's house, you're heading out to a restaurant. I just want to share what's been helpful to me and what I've seen help some of my coaching group members to make it through some of these more challenging food situations. So I used to look forward to holidays and social events mostly because of just what food was going to be there. But that's really not true for me anymore. I do look forward to eating meat when I'm hungry, same as every other day. But I mostly look forward at holidays and events to the people who are there, family, friends, having time off, decorations, sitting around and talking. But I don't eat like most of my family members do. I eat like you. You're my tribe. And my tribe does not eat sugary, carby junk. We eat to fuel our bodies and just to feel great. Okay. And I know for some of you, you are way past thinking about eating sugars and carbs, even on holidays. Not interested, I know. But think back and remember how hard it was in the beginning. For some of us, especially, I really struggled at first with the challenge of making it through holidays and my first birthday without cake and carbs. So even if you are past it, let's just try to think back so we can help other tribe members who are still struggling. All right, before the event, I would encourage you to take about 5 to 10 minutes of just quiet time. And during that quiet time, I would encourage you to visualize yourself at this event. Picture the people that are going to be there, the food that will be served, try to get into it, like really deeply into it. See the faces, smell the smells, see the trigger foods in your mind, even your most old favorites. Imagine all the chatter, the noise, the sweets, the sides, the alcohol, everything that you could possibly see that could be at this event. Use detail. Confront it in your mind, knowing that you're by yourself and you're safe. It's just a vision. It can't hurt you, but it can prepare your brain for what you're going to actually encounter at the event. While you do this, I would also encourage you to do something pleasant at the same time when you're picturing this. So deeply breathe, slowly, eyes closed perhaps. Maybe have some quiet or comforting music playing. If you have a foot massager or back massager, do that while you're picturing, before the party or event, what's going to be happening. Imagine it while you take a hot bath, perhaps, or a hot shower. Or cross your arms, squeeze pretty tight, massage, and rub. You could try that right now. It's actually very soothing, and research has shown that doing this, whether it's to yourself or you say, okay, honey, rub me, but crossing your arms and doing this while thinking through something that could be difficult can calm your brain. But if you were to do this in combination with breathing slowly, picturing the event to come, it can calm down your brain. Right. Then imagine, what is your plan? What are you going to actually put on your plate? Is it going to be turkey, beef roast? Are you going to bring along a carnivore dish that you can also eat? You could take a platter of bacon, a charcuterie tray. Could you bring chicken salad, deviled eggs, a butterboard, pork rinds, sausage dip? Also, this might be a good time to think about, are there some foods that I don't have every day, but that don't really make me feel bad if I were to have it for just a special occasion? So maybe it's your favorite seltzer water that you don't get all the time. Maybe you could have a coffee with heavy cream if you don't have that normally. Maybe some extra dairy. Just go ahead and decide where that line is for you before you're confronted with it. So think through it and decide what is going to be fine to be on my plate and where is that line. What do you specifically need to do in order to feel successful, to be well fed, and to feel proud of yourself when it's all over? And I would make those decisions before the actual moment when you're surrounded by it all in real life and where it might be awkward to just sit around rubbing yourself. So for me at a party, I'll typically have lots of pepperoni, salami, cheese. That's not how I eat all day, every day. But if I'm at an event, I feel like, oh, it's a party, I can have this. But it doesn't bring me back to pain or addiction. I don't lose my peace over it. It's just something different that I can do at a party. For things like Thanksgiving, my mom makes deviled eggs with Duke's mayonnaise. That's not something I usually have, but I feel okay having it on an occasion. But I will also take my own like carnivore homemade fatty ground beef bars. So I have plenty to eat. I can fill up on that and then have some deviled eggs and cheese. And I don't have to worry afterwards like being bloated, having cravings, diarrhea, leg cramps. I am not doing any of that. No, there are no foods out there that are worth me having all of that pain and issues for hours and hours or days and days when eating the food lasts literally minutes. Okay, back to the 5 to 10 minutes of quiet time. Now imagine what you do want to put on your plate and handle how you're going to pass by all the others. You can literally practice it in your mind. Bypassing the dessert table, going to that platter of bacon, going to the deli meats. I would encourage you to imagine also how you are going to feel the next day. If you do stick to your plan, how is that going to feel? You're going to feel proud of yourself. You're probably going to sleep great. You're going to wake up. If you check glucose and ketones, you're going to see those numbers right where they usually are or better. It's going to feel good. You're going to be so proud of yourself. Likewise, let's look into this magic. Look into the magic ball, and imagine how you would feel if you did not stick to your plan. You eat all the junk that you didn't plan to eat. So for myself, I can imagine I would feel disappointed, bloated. I'm going to have cravings for days. I can imagine that my steak doesn't taste as good and I just lose my peace around food again. And I'm struggling to get back on track. I can clearly picture each of these scenarios and these outcomes, and I know for sure which one I want for myself. The next day after a social event, I want to feel exactly as good as I do right now. I want zero cravings. I don't want a single leg cramp. I don't want to flare up a bunch of acne issues. I don't want my glucose going high. I don't want my ketones going low. I don't want to feel my pants get tighter. I don't want belly pain. No, I don't want any part of that. All right, so how can we make that happen? If that's your goal, how can we make that happen? If your family doesn't know what you're doing these days to get healthy, you could explain it to them. You could tell them, look, I'm eating differently these days because I'm trying to heal some problems, get my health in order in hopes of feeling better. If you've already experienced some healing already, you can certainly share some of that great news and let them know that a few bites of this holiday food would not be worth feeling bad again. You could explain, look, I'm on an elimination diet. Let me tell you the science of ketones, share the research around plant toxins and oxalates, tell them about the YouTube channels, share as much as you want. You could give a PowerPoint explanation. You could pass out copies of Carnivore Cure, or you could just smile and say, oh, no, thank you. You literally are not obligated to educate the entire world because of your own food choices. If I'm with somebody and they don't know me, and they offer me carbs, I usually just say, oh no, but thank you so much. This is a great party. I'm so glad to be here. Oh my gosh, that sausage dip is amazing, or turkey or pepperoni, whatever. I'm having so much fun. Thank you for inviting me. A host really just wants you to be happy. And if you are happy without all the sweets, they are far more likely to just be happy and move on. Some things that I have thought through the years that have been helpful. I have come too far to go back now. Their opinions, thoughts, and feelings are not worth me losing my health or my peace. I do not want to go through withdrawal again. I did it once and I never have to go through it again. I do not have to explain my food to anyone. They don't owe me an explanation either. Once I start, it's going to be so much harder to stop. And also, my tribe does not eat that. So those are some of the thoughts that have sort of helped me personally to make it through some tough situations. Okay, some other tactics I've seen people use. You can take some of the plant products, salad, green bean casserole, whatever it is that's not really that tempting to you. You can put it on your plate, push it around a little while you're eating if you think that's going to make you seem a little less obvious or make things less awkward. You could also have an alternate activity. So when I know that my friends are going to be sitting around either drinking alcohol or eating sweets for a long time, and I want to be there for the conversation, I'll take a ball of yarn and just sit and crochet while they eat and drink. I can also talk and have fun, keep my hands busy. Also, yard games like cornhole, that's what we call it here. Some people call it bags. That's a fun way to stay occupied. If there's a baby, offer to hold it or play with the little kids. If there's a cat or a dog, I'll usually go and pet that while I talk to people. And if there are folks who are outside doing something, either standing around talking outside, sometimes it's good to just get fresh air and go where there aren't so many food temptations. I do not struggle with this now, but some of those tricks helped me in the beginning. Other tips. I try to always have a pretty good idea of what food is going to be available even before I show up. So if I'm going to a restaurant, I look at the menu first. And if I have questions like, oh, are those wings breaded? I will call ahead of time. I very rarely just show up going, oh, what's on this menu? Oh, it's vegan? No, I want to know, what am I going to order? And I try very hard to stick to that plan. If I'm going to a party at someone's house, I almost always bring a dish of something that I can also enjoy. If it's not the kind of party where you bring your own dish, you could always just bring your own baggie of bacon in your purse. And just go find some times to eat it alone if you don't feel comfortable eating bacon from a bag in public. I definitely do feel comfortable doing that at this point, but there is always the option of purse bacon. It is a thing for a reason. During the event, if you find yourself feeling very tempted or overwhelmed, I would encourage you to step away for a moment. Just go to the bathroom or go get something from your car. Get alone. Take several deep, slow breaths. This will stimulate your I'm not pointing to my hat, I'm pointing to my prefrontal cortex. It will stimulate the decision-making part of your brain. Get some blood flowing. You could do a few squats or even shivers in the bathroom. Get some blood and oxygen flow to your brain. And then close your eyes and picture what you really want in life. Not what your mouth is wanting, not what the voice of addiction is wanting, but what does the real you really want? What does your truest, highest, best self really want? What would future you wish you had done? What would she tell you? How would the hero of the story behave? If you're writing your own story and you're the main character, which you are, what would the hero do? Just take some time to think through your options. Breathe, pray, calm your mind before going back into the thick of it. Just have a quiet moment alone in a bathroom stall. Connect with your true self. It has saved many people from making decisions that they would truly regret, food related or not. Just give yourself a minute. All right, here's another reminder that it is so much easier to just avoid the first bite than it is to have a bite and then stop. So the voice of addiction will lie and say, oh, if you have a bite, that'll get it out of our system. That could not be further from the truth. So, for example, a recovered alcoholic could have a craving for alcohol. And the thought itself, maybe I could have some alcohol, cannot hurt you. It's just a passing thought. But if you actually take the first sip, it would be incredibly harder for them to stop and walk away. That first sip or bite of whatever it was that we were addicted to triggers a chemical reaction in the reward center of our lizard brain. That's the lizard that slows down. When we trigger that, it slows down the functioning of our prefrontal cortex. And it's like we no longer have brakes. It's like cutting the brake system of a car. Now it's like you can't stop. So before you take that first bite or sip, we actually have a really solid chance of stopping. We can resist. We can keep our brakes intact. We can keep our prefrontal cortex working. So the lie of one bite will get it out of my system is just not true. It's the total opposite, because that is not how addiction works. One bite will make it almost impossible to stop. So say no before you have a taste in the first place. Another tip, picture your safe spot. Hear me out. Dr. Joan Iflin talks about the benefits of having a safe spot in our home. And we can think of that spot whenever we get triggered by either smell, sights, processed foods. She says to picture that spot in our home. It could be a comfy spot where you love to sit. Maybe that's where you go to eat your bowl of tasty roast beef, where you drink your broth, where you sit to journal, maybe where you go to meditate or just to relax. It could be a recliner or your favorite spot at the breakfast table. Ideally, it's a place where you are not tempted to eat carbs. It's not a spot where you have in the past gone to eat all of the carbs. A new spot that's not associated with sugar and carbs. It should represent peace and rest for you. And if you don't have a place like this, it's probably worth finding one. When we are away from home and we're in a stressful situation like a social event and we feel overwhelmed, we can literally mentally go to that safe spot and know that our little happy spot is waiting for us. We will be back there soon. We can have all the meat that we want to eat there. We can have our bacon and our warm, delicious roast. We have this little safe haven that we can think about in stressful times. And that tactic, the safe spot tactic, is proven to help calm down brains. And that helps us deal with addiction and challenging social situations. One last tip. I try to let people know what I want in a polite way, especially if they ask me or if it's my birthday. So instead of just passively waiting to see what people do for my birthday and just hoping it's something I can eat, I just let them know what I would love. So something like this. Okay, you know how my birthday is coming up, right? You know what would be awesome? I would love to have a huge steak, like a cowboy steak or a tomahawk with candles in it. How cool would that be? And I literally tell people that, not like everybody, but I tell my husband or my parents, the people who are in charge, because these people actually want me to enjoy my birthday. But if I don't give them a clue about what's going to make me happy, they may not know. They may still assume that you want the cake, that you want whatever used to make you happy. So find an excited way to just let them know what would actually be pretty great for you. I do a large steak with candles in it for my birthday, and I love it. So to review, before a holiday or special occasion, I know exactly what I plan to eat in order to make me feel my best. I do not wait until the event is there before I decide. Also, I know exactly why I am making these choices, and I will picture exactly how I'll feel if I stick to my plan and how I will feel if I do not. I picture what the event's going to look like, feel like, sound like, smell like. I think through my responses that I'll give if somebody does offer me junk food, and I will give as little or as much detail as I feel like giving. I also remember that having one taste actually makes it way harder to stop. If I feel overwhelmed, I'll take a moment to breathe, calm my brain, picture my safe spot, pray, get some oxygen to my brain, and connect to my highest, best version of myself. And I will think about my future self and what she wants for me. I will also eat more meat and as much fat as I need to make sure that I have plenty of carnivore foods on hand, that I don't go into a situation starving with nothing to eat. When possible, I let people know politely what I would love so they at least have a chance to accommodate me. And if they don't, I still have a plan. Hello. it's purse bacon. And if anything doesn't go as I planned, or if I make a mistake, I will give myself grace. I will take careful note of any negative effects that I feel, and I will reflect on that pain and exactly what caused it. And then I will make different choices the next time because humans don't like pain. But being cruel to myself or calling myself mean names in my head or playing this self-blame guilt game is not helpful. Lovingly finding ways to avoid future pain actually is helpful. I want you to know that I'm very thankful for you and I sincerely want you to feel great. Not because of some rule book or some dietary label. I want you to just eat the foods that give you a longer, healthier life, that make you feel good, that get you closer to your goals. This doesn't have to be super scary. We can still have a ball at any social event, regardless of the food that we eat. It's not all about the food. Also, you may feel alone sometimes, but you are not. You are not alone. Your tribe, we are pulling for you. We will also be eating delicious meat in the holiday season. I will be eating delicious meat on my birthday, on special occasions. I'll be eating turkey and beef roast, steak, bacon, butter, chicken wings, oopsie cake, ribs on all of the holidays. And I'm going to do it while feeling great and while having a blast. There are thousands of us out here who will be doing that. So you aren't alone. I love you guys. Now go have fun with your friends and your family while you enjoy your good health because you deserve that. You deserve it. Bye.